So as expected, following Dillian Whyte's knockout defeat to Alexander Povetkin, there have been some of his rivals taken to social media to kind of poke fun a little bit or gloat. Tyson Fury, I mean, he's been accused by Sky at least of poking fun at Dillian Whyte. All he did was big up Alexander Povetkin. So that's not really poking fun at Dillian Whyte. It's just congratulating a guy who at 40 years of age was being written off by a lot of people. And this just goes to show that, I mean, age isn't just a number, but you can't write somebody off just because they're 40, especially not somebody with the pedigree of Povetkin going up against Dillian Whyte, who didn't have anywhere near that type of pedigree. I'm talking about his amateur credentials and experience as a pro and all that kind of stuff. So Tyson Fury bigging Povetkin up for his victory, I think that's a perfectly reasonable thing to do. To be honest with you, I feel kind of happy for Povetkin. Nothing against Dillian. I would have felt happy for Dillian winning, but Povetkin doing what he did at 40 against the odds and in a fight he was losing where he'd been dropped twice in the previous round. In boxing, we love underdog stories, you know? So Povetkin landing that shot, I can't help but feel a little happy for him. I'm not going to lie. So I don't have an issue with what Tyson Fury did there. And to be honest, I don't have an issue with some other people really poking fun at Dillian Whyte for getting knocked out, because let's be real, Dillian Whyte has poked fun at plenty of other fighters himself, so it's fair game. It's the Wild West out here. It's dog eat dog. One day you're poking fun at somebody for being chinned, and the next day they're poking fun at you for getting chinned. It is what it is. Yeah? If you can't take the heat, you got to get out of the kitchen. So here we've got Bob Arum, who is a promoter. And obviously I don't have as much respect for promoters as I do for fighters, generally speaking, because Bob Arum has never stepped in a ring and laced up a pair of gloves in his life, as far as I'm aware anyway. This guy's a lawyer and whatnot, or was a lawyer. He said Dillian Whyte was so busy fighting for his WBC mandatory position that he didn't see Povetkin's uppercut, which knocked him cold on his you-know-what. Pulev will KO Joshua next. London bridges are falling. Now, while I think Pulev is going to be tricky for AJ, I don't think he's going to beat AJ. I think AJ had the shock of his life against Andy Ruiz, a rude awakening. He redeemed himself in the Ruiz rematch. He's now seen Dillian Whyte get knocked out cold with one punch. Well, not quite out cold, but nearly. One punch from Povetkin, and Anthony Joshua was in attendance there. He witnessed it in the flesh. So he's going to be on high alert, Anthony Joshua, to not allow something similar to happen to him against Kubrat Pulev. And I think AJ has enough youth, technical ability, experience, power, and athleticism to be able to defeat Pulev. I do think it's going to be a tricky fight. I think the fight will probably go long, and Anthony Joshua might have to get stuck in to pull out the victory, but I do think it will happen. But look, Bob Arum, as Pulev's promoter, is obviously going to say his man's going to win. So that's what Bob Arum said. Again, nothing too harsh, to be fair. Andy Ruiz simply put up this laughing emoji. I'm not sure if he's put anything else up on his Twitter. In fact, let me check. But he put a laughing emoji up. Now, given the war of words that Andy Ruiz and Dillian Whyte had earlier on this year, what else could you expect? Dillian Whyte hasn't said very complimentary things about Andy Ruiz. He said very harsh things about him. So what you expect, Ruiz to come out and say nice things about Dillian Whyte? He's not going to say nice things. And Dillian Whyte wasn't saying nice things about Ruiz when Ruiz lost. So it is what it is. To be honest, Dillian Whyte has got off pretty lightly in terms of any heat from his rivals over his knockout loss to Povetkin. Because when AJ lost to Ruiz, he got a hell of a lot of heat from his rivals. Even when Deontay Wilder lost to Tyson Fury in the rematch, he got a hell of a lot of heat from some of his rivals, including Dillian Whyte. But Whyte, so far from what I've seen, hasn't really been getting that much heat from his rivals. Maybe a lot of his rivals have been humbled because of certain things that have happened to them over the past 18 months. I don't know. But he certainly got off a lot lighter from his rivals than AJ did. AJ just got absolutely trashed by his rivals. From Tyson Fury to Deontay Wilder to many others. Whereas Dillian seems to be getting off a bit light. One person, and this is real interesting, who you would have expected to be first to start gloating about Dillian Whyte getting knocked out is this guy, Deontay Wilder. But Wilder has literally gone missing. I'm expecting him to appear on a milk carton somewhere. The way this guy's gone missing. He hasn't... See, Deontay Wilder used to be on Twitter all the time, making his opinions and views about everything in the heavyweight division known. He used to be on there all the time. But since his humiliating loss to Tyson Fury, he's gone missing. His last tweet was June 6th. And before then, May 26th. So God knows where Deontay Wilder is right now. Very interesting that he hasn't been coming for Dillian Whyte following Whyte's KO defeat. So obviously, when it comes to the fans, yeah, the fans are going to be absolutely trashing Dillian Whyte. The PBC fans, the Fury fans, maybe even some AJ fans are going to be gloating, making memes, and doing all kinds of other stuff. But when it comes to Whyte's rivals, he's got off pretty light. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. It's happening. I'm out.